Hello everyone, we are welcoming Jonathan Jackson, a friend of Romania, to this podcast in Toxologia Studios. We are very glad you arrived in Iași.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm very excited to be here.
How is it your time?
Yeah, it's been lovely. It's beautiful. I'm excited to get to see more of the city. It's my third time in Romania, but first time in the kind of city center, I guess. So, but yeah, it's wonderful.
How do you consider third time in Romania? Is it enough, or do you want to come more?
No, I think we'll be back. Yeah, for sure. And then we lived in Ireland for a year and a half, and the church community was Romanian. So in that sense, we were living in Ireland, but we kind of felt like we were in Romania because so many people that we knew from the church were Romanian. So going to the liturgy today reminded me of actually being in Ireland with with our Romanian brothers and sisters.
Where have you been to liturgy today?
So this morning we were at the monastery of the three holy hierarchs, which was so beautiful. Yeah, really amazing.
I know this is a monastery in the city. How do you feel it to be in the city?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because in America, the Orthodox Church is still relatively hidden. I mean, it's not so much anymore. A lot more people know about it, thankfully. But monasteries are kind of out, you have to drive a very long way, fly, upstate New York, Arizona, and all these different places. But to be here in Iași and see monasteries just in the city is really amazing. It's like, I don't know, I feel like it's very strengthening and encouraging for people to see that presence right in the heart of a city.
I know you're a busy man. Mm-hmm. How is it you found time to come in Romania?
Well, it wasn't easy. It was really by the grace of God. My work schedule is a lot right now, and but I think it was really just through prayer from not mine, other people's prayers, and it really, I didn't think it was going to happen, but we asked, and amazingly, I got the days off of work to come here. So yeah, I was amazed at that.
Also, how is it for you to come to a festival of movies, mm-hmm. Christian movies in Romania?
Yeah, well, that was exciting too. Film is a huge part of not only my life and career, but in my household now, because my oldest son Caleb is a screenwriter and filmmaker. He just finished his second short film. I've been teaching a film school called Theoria in first Texas and now Nashville, and focusing on filmmakers like Andrei Tarkovsky and Terrence Malick and spiritual poetic cinema. So that's a part of household discussions all the time. My daughter Adora is an actress and is getting into that as well. So to see this festival that it's focused on, kind of poetic, spiritual cinema was really interesting. So I'm excited to hopefully get to see some of the films.
How do you feel your family feel the Orthodoxy? Because mm-hmm. your children are already born and baptized? So our youngest, Titus, was a baby. He was a year and a half when he was baptized. Caleb was maybe 8, Adora was 6, so they were a little bit older. But we all came into the church at the same time. We were all 5 of us were baptized
and chrismated in Los Angeles, Holy Virgin Mary Cathedral. And it was a very, well, it was a family journey, really, you know. It's funny because the kids, they took to it right away. Like we would visit an Orthodox church and they were amazed, you know, at the icons and the beauty of the church. Whereas the adults, myself and Elisa, we were more hesitant because we'd been, you know, taught in the Protestant world not to have icons and things like this. So it took us longer, but the heart of a child, you know, the children just accepted it right away.
Is it the first festival of Christian movies you attend?
I think so. I think it is. Yeah. You know, and one of the things that I love about European cinema is, you know, Saint Porphyrios said that whoever wants to become a Christian must first become a poet. And I feel like, generally speaking, Europeans and certainly, you know, Romanians have that poetic feel for art and for the world. And sometimes it's more difficult for Americans to, and I think a lot of that does kind of come from the Protestant, you know, kind of iconoclastic past where, you know, for generations, they haven't had beauty on the walls and they haven't had a kind of liturgical life. And so, I'm encouraged by the honesty, the beauty of European cinema, especially when it's kind of, you know, spiritually focused. But to be spiritually focused doesn't mean it has to be, you know, hitting you over the head with a message. It can just be something that stirs your heart and soul and hopefully kind of awakens you.
You have to prepare to become Orthodox. Mm-hmm. How is it for you? How was it? Was it for you?
It was a long journey, really. Elisa and I, we were in Romania for over 3 months in 2007, and then we also went to Rome, Italy, for a week. And both of those places, something stirred inside of us where we realized that we needed to read Christian history. We needed to understand, you know, how we got to where we are. You know, in America, there's hundreds and hundreds of Protestant denominations and different, you know, different versions of the gospel. And it just, I started to question that. I started to question, like, how come you know, these churches are teaching different things? How did we get here? And so it took about 4 years of reading. And at that time, we didn't know a single Orthodox person. We didn't know anyone who was Orthodox. In fact, while I was reading Christian history, I didn't even know that we were looking for the Orthodox Church. I was just trying to find the most pristine, unchanging faith and church that existed. So for a long time, I thought, like most people in the West, it was either Catholic, Roman Catholic, or Protestant. So I read a lot of books from Pope Benedict XVI and a lot of other Roman Catholics. We went to Catholic Mass quite a bit. But because I was reading the actual fathers of the church, something about the Roman Catholic experience felt like there were too many changes, too many innovations had taken place. And so one night I was crying out to God and saying, you know, where is your church? Because you said that the gates of hell would not prevail against your church. And this was 3.5 years into the journey. And a little, very small voice inside of me in that moment said, "Look at the Great Schism." And so as soon as I went back and really started looking at the Great Schism to see the split between Eastern Christianity and Western Christianity, that was the moment when everything kind of clicked, and it was like, oh. And I went to my wife, I said, this might sound strange to you, but I think the Orthodox Church is like the church. I think it's the actual church. And she said, what? She was raised Roman Catholic, and then she'd become Protestant. So Orthodoxy was just, it was just very foreign to us.
Yeah, coming back to movies, movies industry, do you feel it's something different that you are all Christians and amongst the other characters in the movie industries?
In terms of the people I work with?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, one of the, I think, beautiful things about Christ is as the scriptures say, Christ is all and in all. So, it's a beautiful responsibility, I guess, and also, in some sense, a joy to try to see every person that you work with or that you meet to understand that Christ is all and in all. So I've seen a lot of humility and goodness in the people that I've worked with over the years. I've learned so much from them, and so I think there's a lot more in common there than not. But at the same time, it's a very intense industry, and it's not a faith-filled Christian, environment by any means. But I grew up around it, so I'm kind of used to, working with people that don't agree or see the world the way that I do.
What do you think is how to call mission of the movie industries nowadays?
Well, I mean, I would say that the mission of cinema and film these days should be primarily the same as art throughout the centuries, which is a gift that God has given us to, it's very much like parables. Christ spoke through parables, and I think film is very much that. And I really love filmmakers like Andrei Tarkovsky, as I mentioned earlier, and Terrence Malick, because I think that film has a very unique way of reaching people when it's done in an authentic, poetic way. So, and it's all of the art forms combined. It's music, it's visual, it's it has everything in it. It's a very difficult, very, very difficult medium. But I'm encouraged by some of the young, students and filmmakers at the film school, and watching my son Caleb start to make films. I think there's a new generation of spiritually focused filmmakers who really want to give something of meaning, something life-giving to people, and we need that. We need that kind of inspiration.
Do you think through television and through movies can people find about Orthodoxy and Christian belief?
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. I mean, I think with art in general, I see it a lot of times as a bridge. It's a bridge for people to take a step closer. But oftentimes, a work of art is something that stirs the soul. And one of the ways I like to look at it is you can't argue really with a work of art, So you can get into an argument with someone about, politics or
religion or something like that, and people can just argue from their mind. But if you see a work of art, you can't argue with it. It's too beautiful. It's just right there. And, music can do that. Somebody could walk into a concert or a symphony or something, and they're in their mind, they might not believe in God, but then the music, they can walk out knowing there is a God. And this has happened to people that I know. So I think that's partly Dostoevsky, when he says beauty will save the world. Obviously, it's the beauty, the fullness is in the church and is in this, Christ and the saints. But works of art are a bridge to get us, one step closer, almost like preparing the heart, to be able to receive grace.
Yes, I do believe that we are a part of the symphony of God. So.
Yeah, I like that.
How do you feel your family coming again in Romania? Do you think that they will be interested in maybe coming here or stay here?
I think so. I mean, Romania has been played an important role for us, as I said before. First encountering Orthodoxy in Romania, and then living in Ireland with our Romanian community. We still have really close friends. The priests and their families were amazing. During the pandemic, they would drive, because we couldn't go to church for 7 months at one point because they were, closed down, and the priests would drive an hour to our home, sometimes 3 hours to our home, and just so we could have confession and the liturgy, and Holy Communion at the house, and so there was a real experience of love. So yeah, I think Romania just keeps kind of tugging at us, and so grateful that we're able to be here again.
The first movie you made, the first time you were in Romania, you made a movie or filmed a movie, yeah?
Yes.
This is how you find out of Romania and Christians?
Yeah. But what's interesting is that even though we witnessed, the procession at Pascha, and it made an impact on our souls, I remember. And then we had people say to us, Christos a înviat. And this is not something that I didn't grow up at Easter saying this for 40 days, so that made an impression. That was like, wow, this is really beautiful. But I still didn't understand what the Orthodox Church was. And that's why it took 3.5 years of reading to come back to it. Because in the West, it's just the Roman Catholic Protestant presence is like, that's all you think exists. So even though we experienced it, I just didn't know what it was. I didn't understand that, the Orthodox Church is so significant. I just didn't know. And it took a long time to finally kind of get back there. So finally, after I was 3.5, 4 years into it, then we remembered, it's like, we were there. We were in Romania. And then I thought, how come we didn't know to visit the monasteries? We didn't know, where we were. So all those years later, when we came back and got to go to Niem's monastery and Putna and all of these incredible places, having been in the church for so many years now, it felt like a full circle experience.
About the movies, you played many roles in different movies. Which character did you affect you the most? Or had an impact on you?
Well, I think many of them over the years. A lot of them from characters that were really kind of suffering, going through difficulties. I played
a young person who was addicted to heroin when I was maybe 17 or 18 years old, and that had an impact on me to kind of experience on some level the pain and the just the absolute devastation, of drug addiction. Another character that I played was struggling with suicidal thoughts, and that film was actually shot in Ireland. And each character that you kind of encounter, it has the potential to open your mind and your heart up to, I don't know, I guess maybe different ways, the struggles that we all have. But if I were to have to pick one, I would probably, I would say St. Joseph the Hesychist. That was the most impactful for me, because getting to go to the Holy Mountain and be with the fathers there and read about St. Joseph's life. It was a difficult project in many ways. Like it was very exhausting, but very life-giving.
Can you share with us an experience during the movie making?
Yeah, there were a few. One is we actually climbed to the summit of Mount Athos, and we were filming as we were doing that. So it took us a couple days, and that was a really incredible experience. While we were filming, it was the Dormition of the Mother of God. Saint Joseph reposed on the Dormition. So we stopped filming, and we were able to participate in all of the services. So to be on Mount Athos during the Dormition, while we were filming this project about St. Joseph the Hesychist, something changed inside of me in terms of my, I guess, awareness of the Mother of God and how much she loves us and how close she is to us. St. Joseph said that, it was said about St. Joseph that he couldn't say the name of the Mother of God without tears. And so he was really close with us, during this time. And to experience the Dormition was something I'll never forget.
How do you think you can pass this experience and these choices through our other generations?
That's a good question. Well, one of the reasons that ultimately that my wife and I and my family journeyed into Orthodoxy is for that very reason. Because I was looking around at various churches and, evangelical churches, and, there's a lot of beautiful, really good people in these churches. But I was asking myself, what am I passing on to my children? Because they're changing all the time, these churches, I was looking for something that I could project 50 years into the future, 100 years, 200 years into the future, and say, this faith will still be this faith. And the only place that I could find that with legitimacy throughout the last 2,000 years was the Orthodox Church. It was very apparent. So first and foremost, I think it's the way to pass that on is the fact that the church exists. So that's, first and foremost. Second to that, I would say that the struggle is for the faith to not become just an external or cultural experience, but It's of the heart. The Orthodox faith, at least the way I tend to see it, is it's not really a religion. It's life. It's an experience with Christ. And if we can try to inspire young people to see and feel and experience the beauty and that is there, that is present in their faith, then they're going to grow up desiring it, which is what Christ wants from us, is love, and not just kind of doing this because you're told you're supposed to do this, but it's because it's beautiful and it's true.
If you would leave a message for the participants of this festival, what would be that?
I think I would just say that nothing good happens except through prayer, and I think that the more, I think it was since we're talking about film, I think it was Tarkovsky who said, basically his message to young filmmakers was, don't make your films contrary to the life that you live. So if you make a film about courage or self-sacrifice, then make sure you live your life that way, And I think that for storytellers, really, filmmakers or authors or whatever, it's the more that we can try to live authentically those kinds of things of beauty and courage and sacrifice and all of that, it'll naturally come out in the works of art that we produce. And I say this to young actors as well. They say, like, what advice for a young actor? And I would say, don't focus on acting that much. Focus on life, See if you can travel, see if you can read history, Try to understand what it is to be human. Try to gain a sense of empathy for people, because then it'll naturally come out in any kind of work of art that's being created.
And a message for the young people who are watching these movies or watching us.
Yeah. I guess for the young people, I would just say that it's interesting. For my generation, the world has changed so fast, and there's so many challenges that we have. I'm encouraged by the young people that I see, because I can see a grace in them and a bravery to confront incredible challenges and really principalities in our world. So I would just say, be courageous, and follow the truth, and don't be afraid to stand apart from the crowd. And you were born for this time.
I will share with you a personal thought of mine.
Please.
I don't feel that we are different nations, actually. I just feel we are brothers because we have just the same heart beating for Jesus' love.
Yes, I feel that too.
Thank you for your time here.
Thank you.
And I hope we'll come back soon.
Thank you.